What's up everyone, how are you all? Today we are back with another blazing Naruto story. What if Naruto died saving Sakura and returned as the angel of retribution? If you enjoy, then please like, share and do comments. And also check the description to original creator of this beautiful creation. An eerie replay of the Valley of the End that only had happened 3 years ago now replayed itself once more. This time both occupants were older, smarter, faster, deadlier. Sasuke, come back to Konoha, screams a blonde shinobi. Shut Dobi, I'm never coming back. Even if you break all my legs I'll crawl away, screams a raven-haired Uchiha, the rain pouring down upon the two teenagers. Chidori, screams out the Uchiha. Rasengan, screams the Dobi. Not this shit again, the blonde thinks as he rushes towards the raven-haired boy. This time something seems different with their clash. This time their blows do not strike each other, but a pink blur then seems to appear before them. The Chidori tears through her right side as it slams into the blonde boy, just barely missing his heart thanks to the pink kunoichi. However, the Rasengan makes its intended mark after piercing the left side of the girl, missing her heart. It slams into the Uchiha's stomach at full force, sending him crashing into the base of the cliff. Naruto eyes widen in great disbelief, in horror, shock. Why Sakura? Naruto chokes out his tears still streaming down his dirt-covered face. He knew if Sakura hadn't jumped in the way, Sasuke would have hit his heart and killed him. Because is all she manages, mutters out. Her eyes slowly grow colder and colder. She can see the tears streaking down Naruto's face. Pleading for any form of help, anything to save his love life. Fox, help me please, she dying please. Naruto cries out in panic, hoping the annoying old fox would help him. Why should I help you, kid? Snorts the fox inside Naruto's head. I killed her. I'm truly a demon. I can't, as Naruto stares into his dying love's eyes. He feels his heart seem to shatter as he looks at the blood draining out of her onto the cold ground, the rain beating off her pink hair, drizzling down her creamy skin. Kid, you haven't killed her yet. Just please stop the annoying crying. Fox, she's dead and it is all my fault. Screamed Naruto. Not yet. Now shut up and do as I say. Snaps back the fox. Some say he doesn't have a heart, but over the years he has been with Naruto he has managed to change, to hold some feelings. He dares not say, but he has also grown fond of Naruto. What's worse is he hates to hear the screeching and whining of the crying boy echo through the halls of his dark prison. He knows full well that if he doesn't help Naruto he will never hear anything but tears, and that thought tears the Kyuubi up, and eternity of Naruto crying is worse than dying to him. You can save the girl, but at great cost to you, said the Kyuubi, knowing Naruto will do anything to save the girl he loves. Anything, just please save her, said Naruto, as his voice cracking with desperation. The cost is your life. If you wish to save her, then bite down on her neck and release all my chakra. I will give you all 9 tails. I must go inside her to heal her, said the Kyuubi. Naruto wastes no time as he quickly bites down on Sakura's cold neck. His chakra flares wildly about him. His body feels itself desegregating as it floods out of him into the body of the woman he loves. Within moments that seem like hours to the poor boy, the demonic chakra of the Kyuubi rushes about Sakura. Her body seems to glow in malice of red. Her wounds slowly vanish as the chakra crashes around inside her body, healing the damage caused by the chakra itself. Slowly he watches it simmer down. Set her down. Your sensei should be arriving anytime. No doubt the village felt you release all my chakra. You must flee, run as far away and never look back. I have saved the woman you love, but as I said, it cost you your life. If you wish to spare them the heartache of the painful death you're about to receive, then run. Snorts the fox as he watches Naruto set Sakura down. He grabs the passed out Uchiha and gently sets down the boy beside her. He turns to the rainy sky. Within moments he leaf flickers away. Running as fast as he can to escape, he can feel the fatigue and darkness of the release encroaching him as he tries to put as much distance as possible between him and his former teammates. He feels his skin begin to burn and dissolve. Kakashi POV. I rush as fast as my legs could carry me, with the two Sannin at my side, both with great looks of concern and worry scribbled all over their face. We were in Konoha when we felt a large chill, and suddenly the sky began to rain as the perfectly clear day turned to darkness and misery. The rain felt the same as it did almost 15 years ago. That's when we all felt it. so powerful that it made everyone huge themselves trembling in fear and numbness. The blast of chakras so evil, so corrupt, it left no doubt that it was the Nine Tails Kyuubi no Kitsune. What's worse, as soon as I found Jiraiya I heard him mutter out, "It has been released." Yet as we followed the chakra it seemed to fade away till there was what seemed like nothing left. The only times a chakra signature vanishes is when someone is dead or close to death. It didn't take us very long to reach the board of the sound. As fast as we traveled we ended up in the same place almost 3 years ago. The Valley of the End, the site of the major clash between Uchiha Madara and the Shodai Hokage of Konoha. My eyes widened as I saw my 2 students lying on the ground, both covered in blood. But as I approached I noticed they both were still breathing. I let out a deep sigh of relief. Jiraiya turns to me as I nod my head. "Don't worry, they are still alive, both unconscious but alive." "Where is Naruto?" I ask as they shake their heads. Jiraiya lowers his head as he hugs Tsunade. His chakra signature is completely gone. Not even a faint traces. "He's dead," said Jiraiya as he comforts his old teammate. She cries into his arms. It was not secret she thought of Naruto as her little brother, and there was no denying the fact that he acted like Nawaki. Even looked like him. I lifted up my 2 students. "We need to get them to the hospital. Jiraiya, please take Sasuke." I hand him Sasuke as I finish my words. I carry Sakura on my back. I notice that she seems to have a strange seal much like Sasuke's curse seal on her neck. The strange seal reminds me much of a fox paw with 9 foxtails circled around it. I didn't know Sakura got a tattoo. I better ask Jiraiya what he thinks when we are in private. I tell myself, knowing full well Tsunade doesn't need another panic attack as she tries to pull herself together. "Sakura POV. You. What the hell happened?" I mutter out as I reach for my head. I feel the slight coldness of liquids inside my arm and the numbness of an IV needle. "I must be in the hospital," I mutter myself as I continue to rub my head. As I open my eyes I see the white ceiling maybe 10 feet above me. I let out a deep sigh when suddenly I feel my thoughts flood back to me. I remember my body seemingly to act on its own as my inner self screamed. "Don't just stand there, move, Sasuke-kun going to kill Naruto." I don't know why, but I jumped up, placing myself stupidly between the 2. That's when I felt their arms tear into my chest. Sasuke didn't even hesitate like Naruto did. Sasuke just went straight through me like I was air, like I was nothing but a hindrance. Yet Naruto actually tried to avert his blow. I felt it tear into me. His face was twisted in pain and tears. I could read his mind, screaming why. Yet not even I knew why I had jumped in the way. How am I alive? I ask myself, knowing full well 2 blasts like that should have easily killed me. "You're awake. You've been out cold for 2 weeks. Said the familiar voice of Tsunade, but it seems so cold, as if no life remained inside, no hint of happiness. I look to her face to see that she does not even have her body manipulation jutsu activated, showing her full age. "Tsunade-sama." I try to mutter out, but it comes out scratch and sore. Painfully sore. She just raises her hand to me, motioning for silence. "You were on the ventilating system for a week. Don't talk too much," she said as I listened to the tapping of the pen against the clipboard. But I hear a different tap against it, not one of metal but of what seems like water. I look at Tsunade's face as I see her turn away, unable to even look at me. I turn to look about the room. I see Kakashi leaning against the wall. His head hanging low. His clothes no longer Jonin but Anbu, his red scarf hanging about his neck in a casual manner. His mask that of a white dog. I can feel his glares piercing me like I was the scum of the earth. "Kakashi-sensei." I try to mutter out as he quickly cuts me off upon Tsunade leave. "I am no longer your sensei, I quit that role. It's Kakashi Hitaki to you now. And if you wish to know, the Uchiha Sasuke has not been to visit once since he's been awake," he said in an ice-cold voice, knowing that would be my next question. I feel a cold shudder seem to surround me as I look around. I am surprised to not see Naruto there. He had always been at my bedside before. No matter how many times or over how little of an issue it was, he would be there, claiming that he could not in good heart leave my side when I was sick. I see no get well cards like I used to see. Just a blank empty room with nothing more than Kakashi, who was about to leave. I stop him with a scratchy "Wait. Wait, where is Naruto?" I ask as my worry seems to grow more and more. "Dead," is all he says. My heart seems to drop to the bottom of my chest. How is that possible? I jumped in the way. I tell myself as I watch Kakashi slips away. It takes several more hours before someone enters my room, my mind flooded with confusion. How can he be dead? Naruto. It's not possible. I ramble over and over in my head like some sort of drone. The only person that seemed to show any emotion so far was Shizune, and even her voice was cruel, as if full of disgust. "You're clear to leave, Sakura Haruno," is all she says as enters, then quickly leaves the room. I look out the window to notice that the sun has seemed to risen since I was awake, so it must be morning. I must find out what's going on. I tell myself as I rip the IV from my arm, using some of my healing jutsu to stop the small bleeding from the IV. I quickly walk over to the cabinet which hangs my normal outfit. I notice that Tsunade was nice enough to place a clean pair of clothes inside for me. I waste no time in changing. I walk around the streets of Konoha looking for the Rookie 9 or any of my former friends. The ones I do find seem to just ignore me or cast cold glares at me. I finally find Ino, who stares at me with utter hatred and dislike. Genuine meanness to her look. I speak up. "Ino pig, why does everyone hate me?" I ask quickly before she walks away. She just keeps her back to me as she responds. "Because you're responsible for his death. You made him chase after Sasuke until it killed him. I hope you're happy he kept his final promise, the promise to bring back your Sasuke-kun. Please don't ever dare talk to me again, Sakura," she says, walking off. I try to stop her, but she only gives me the cold shoulder. I feel my heart sink lower and lower, knowing full well that they wouldn't believe me if I told them I tried to stop their fight. I didn't believe myself. It was as if I awoke into a nightmare. My body had no scars from the fight, no signs that it should have been there. I wanted to break down and cry right there, but I held myself firm. I quickly run to my house to find my mom sitting with a strange man laughing and talking. I notice the man is one of the council members, so I decided to listen in. "So Ms. Haruno, how does it feel to be the mother of the daughter responsible for the Kyuubi's death?" the man asked in a quiet and humorous voice. "I don't know, Danzo. I still can't believe the whole town seems to worship me. I guess that daughter of mine was worth something after all. So who shall we marry her to? Increases the clan's power." She chuckles as she sips her tea casually. "Who knows, does it matter anymore? She's not attractive enough for any of the important shinobis." Danzo says. "This is true. We could whore her out," my mother said as if it was nothing. Her words hit me like a sharp kunai, thrusting over and over into my heart. "When she comes back, I heard she woke up today. You should probably go see her," said Danzo. "Why? I don't give a shit about her. I'm sick of playing mother to her," she repeats with ease. I feel the tears streaking out of my eyes as I try to pull myself away, but I can't seem to move. My legs remain still, trembling in place. "That husband of yours was only good for his last name. Too bad you killed him so soon," Danzo said. "PSH, he couldn't even make decent children. Sakura doesn't even have his bloodline abilities," she said, slamming her tea down. "If it hasn't shown yet, it will never show," Danzo said with a scowl on his face. "But you are right, she might still hold it. We need her having kids as soon as possible," he repeats. I could not believe my ears. I knew Naruto had the 9 tails Kyuubi inside him and that the whole town had hated him. Yet for my mom to say that I was only useful because I killed Naruto, I couldn't believe it. On top of that, she didn't even care for me. She only thought me as a baby maker. Before I knew it, my tears were falling against the ground. I could hear myself weeping as my mother looked at me with shock. She must have not intended for me to hear her say that, but she knew she couldn't deny saying them. "Sakura, what are you doing out of the hospital?" she says, trying to change the subject. I simply ignore her question as I run out of the house. Jiraiya POV. "Man, sunset already. Why is it always so rainy nowadays?" I tell myself as I let out a sigh, the rain soaking through my outfit, causing it to cling to my skin, chilling me. I begin walking towards the Hokage mountain cliff. I had been originally charged with watching over the Uchiha, but I didn't care about him. I simply put a paralyzing seal on his neck and left him in his house. If he does run away, it's probably for the better, I tell myself. I am broken from my thoughts as I hear the familiar sound of a girl crying. I look down to see none other than the pink-haired Kyuubi killer, as everyone calls her, standing on the fourth's head. "Sakura, right?" I ask, knowing full well that's her name, but I decided to play it careful as to not scare her. I can tell clearly she is thinking of jumping off the face and plummeting to her death. She nervously turns to me. "What do you want, Jiraiya-sama?" She sneers back bitterly. "What are you planning to do, girl?" "Jump," I explain, raising my voice at the last part. It'd be better than living as the Kyuubi killer, that's all I'm now. Even my mother said it was all I was good for. She says in a bitter voice, her eyes still puffy from crying. Then why haven't you jumped yet? I ask, truly not caring about the girl, though I know Tsunade would. Because it would make Naruto-kun sad. She said in a muffled out sad voice, hesitating on the kun part. I shake my head, dismissing the last part. Why would you care what makes Naruto sad anymore? You're the one that killed him after all. I counter. I notice she suddenly leaps from the ledge, plummeting to the ground as fast as she can make herself fall. I let out a deep sigh. Guess I should have picked my words better. Whatever, I mutter to myself as I watch her body smack against the ground, leaving a large crater. Dust seems to litter the area of impact. Close casket funeral from this height. I snicker to myself. Jiraiya POV. I let out a sigh as I leaped down, placing chakra in my legs to soften the impact. I let out a sigh. Head first, guess I better take her body to Tsunade-chan. I say as I bend down. I notice a strange glow on her neck as the seal seems to spin around on her neck. What the? I thought that was just a tattoo. I tell myself in shock as I watch her body start to twitch and move. I hear her mutter out. Kami-sama, why can't I just die? She slams her fist into the ground as more tears fall. I let out a deep sigh as my curiosity and softer side gets the better of me. Sakura, that mark on your neck, how did you get it? I ask in a slightly concerned voice. She shakes her head. I don't know, when it was sometime in the Valley of the End. She says as she grabs the mark on her neck. I look at her, my curiosity seemed to be heightened. What happened at the Valley of the End? I ask as I notice that all her bleeding and wounds have seemed to heal up, much like Kyuubi would do for Naruto. I don't know. Last thing I remember was jumping in between Sasuke and Naruto. I tried to save Naruto's life. Why won't anyone believe me? Why don't I have any scars? Why am I still alive? She screams out as if asking the gods why. I concentrate my mind on the seal. I remind me of a curse seal. But it's not acting like one. What the hell is it? I need to examine it further. I tell myself as I look at the crying girl. What if I tell you I believe you? I mutter out, knowing it's a lie, but something deep down tells me that her story might be true. She turns her head up at me. Why would you believe me? She says in a skeptic tone. I look up at the rain clouds pouring down into my face. Because you took a 500 feet fall and are still alive with no scratch. I explain as my curiosity seems to peak on that knowledge. Because I know Naruto would do anything, include sacrificing his life to save you. I slowly listen to the voice inside me as it grows stronger and stronger. So I believe you, I say, this time sincere. She stands on her feet, tears still streaming down her face. I let out a deep sigh. Girl, I would like to examine that seal on your neck if you don't mind. I tell her, putting it blunt. Sakura nods her head as she approaches. She tears the back of her outfit, not really caring about it anymore, as she lets me examine the seal closer. I notice it has gone back to its inactive state. I look at it, studying more and more closer. I notice that the paw does look a lot like a fox paw and that the tails are exactly 9, just like Kakashi said. Before I had dismissed the seal as a simple tattoo she got because they were teammates. But it was no ordinary tattoo. I need to see that Uchiha boy's curse seal again. I need more information. I tell myself as I look to her. Follow me, we are going to see your friend Sasuke. I say in a low tone as she nods her head. She moves without a care. Her mind seems to cry out for her misery to end. How dare that stupid Sannin paralyze me? Once I get free, I'm going to rip him limb from limb. I shout in my head. I had already activated my curse seal to level 1, trying to use it to break free, but it does not help. I tried to get level 2, but I couldn't activate the stage 2 due to the fact that I couldn't move at all. I glared about the room, my fury getting the better of me. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, I hear the door open. I turn and shout. About fucking time, let me out of this kami damn jutsu before I snap you neck, you old man. I shout only to get an annoyed look from him. I'd watch your mouth, Uchiha, or I might make it permanent, says Jiraiya as he motions Sakura to walk in behind him. I notice how badly beaten and torn her clothes look, her blood all over them. I let my fury go as I look at her. Sakura, who did that to you? I ask, actually concerned, for she looked like hell. I did, she responds, tears in her eyes. Why? I ask, not understanding why she would hurt herself. She had always been the level-headed one of our group, the one that thought of reason before action. Because I want to die, Sasuke, but this damn mark on my neck won't let me. She shouts out as tears flood out from her. Her words seem to hit me like lead. What seal? Why does she want to kill herself? I'm back now. I thought that's all she cared about. Jiraiya breaks me from my thoughts. Uchiha, before you blacked out, what is the last thing you remember? If you tell me, I might just release you, he says in a concerned voice. I try to retrace my memories. Everything is so hazy after I slammed my Chidori through Sakura. Well, I remember charging at Naruto with a Chidori. I also remember Sakura jump in the way, causing me to miss his heart. After that, everything's kind of hazy. Why? I ask in a hateful voice. Well, that's not good enough for me to release yet. We need you to remember exactly what happened up until you blacked out. What if I decide I don't want to tell you? I counter his question. Only to feel Jiraiya smack me across the face. Sasuke, you have changed. You really are just like your brother now, he says, his voice strict and straight. You claim you're not like him, but how are you different? You didn't kill your whole clan, but you did try to kill your best friend who was like a brother to you. Always nice to you, always trying to help you. You lust after power just like he does. How are you different than that man? He says, leaving me in a shocked state. I am different because I am an Avenger, I shout out. He simply holds up a mirror. Do Avengers kill close friends? Hurt people that are like family? Do Avengers cause pain and suffering to everyone around them? Do they, Uchiha? He shouts out. I watch my Sharingan activate in anger as I watch my eyes morph into the final stage of Sharingan. I notice that the man staring back at me is indeed not myself. Not an Avenger, but a murderer, a cold-hearted killer just like Itachi. I let out a scream of disgust as he pulls away the mirror. Help poor Sakura. Tell us what you remember, Sasuke, he says in a soft tone. I focus on my memories harder and harder. Flashback, he telling it to Jiraiya. I charge up my Chidori, slamming it through Sakura, trying to get to Naruto. I can feel my hand rip into and through the back of her chest. I then feel his Rasengan at a much slower speed impact my stomach. I notice the tears running down his face as he holds his arm through Sakura's chest. We both stand there, our arms still inside her, until I feel his Rasengan throw me across the ground, slamming into the cliff. He slowly falls with Sakura in his arms. He was screaming out her name, tears flooding his face. I remember noticing how lifeless her body looked. That's when suddenly his body glowed, not red but a bright yellow. All 9 Kyuubi tails erupted from him. The shockwave and chakra was enormous. I almost blacked out immediately from the intensity. It was as if I was looking directly at Kami-sama. He glowed so brightly and had such an enormous amount of power to him. I could still see the tears falling down his cheeks. They were no longer normal tears but tears of blood. I suddenly noticed he was biting Sakura's neck. I know he was biting because it bled a little. Suddenly the tails seemed to vanish and she glowed. The intensity of the energy that was in the air dropped dramatically as the tension released. I blacked out. End flashback. That's all I remember, Jiraiya, and it's very, very fussy, I said in a sad tone, looking at Sakura. Jiraiya ruffles his hand through this silver hair. This is very troublesome. Jiraiya looks to Sakura, neck, then checks mine. They both look like curse seals, and they both were given like curse seals. Except one isn't. One was given out of an act of love and the other given out of a lust for power, exclaimed the old pervert as he sits on his legs, his hand locked in a thinking pose against his chin. If what you say is true, then Naruto gave his life to Sakura, Kyuubi powers and all. But I didn't think the Kyuubi no Kitsune still retained any of his angelic powers, says Jiraiya as he yanks the scroll of his back, unrolling it. I hear Sakura ask in a very confused voice. Angelic power? I thought he was a demon, said Sakura. Jiraiya nods his head. He is now. But he's not an ordinary demon, he is a tailed demon. Jiraiya bites down on his thumb, running it over a seal on the scroll, popping out a book. All tailed demons are fallen angels. Angels that have either forsaken Kami or Kami has banished them to teach them a lesson. The number of years they have been banished equals the number of tails. Every 1,000 years they are away from heaven, they earn a tail. Kyuubi, who was one of the strongest angels in Kami's army, has been banished for 9,000 years. While in his demon state he was sealed into Naruto. Jiraiya flips through the pages in the book before stopping on the one he wants. It was said Kami banished Kyuubi because he didn't understand human emotions. Kami sent him away till he could learn what the term self-sacrifice meant. Problem is, Kyuubi was a powerful angel, so when she sent him away, she couldn't seal all his angelic abilities away. One was the ability to give up all his power to another. Jiraiya lets out a sigh as he closes his book. From what I can make out of it, the Kyuubi no Kitsune sacrificed himself by giving his powers to Naruto, who gave all the abilities the Kyuubi had blessed upon him to Sakura, including his strengths. Since the human body can't withstand such enormous power all at once, he sealed it into Sakura in the form of a seal. That is her curse seal, the angelic seal of Kyuubi. There are no documents of the seal because Kyuubi never once ever gave the seal to anyone, though the book I just checked did have recorders of other angelic seals. I'm positive on the fact that the seal Sakura has on her neck must be the Kyuubi seal of heaven. Jiraiya lets out a deep breath from his long speech. Sakura turns to Jiraiya. What about Naruto? You said Kyuubi sacrificed himself for Naruto. Jiraiya shakes his head. I think Naruto just played the medium. Kyuubi had to release all his powers into Naruto because Naruto was his container. Thus Naruto gave the powers to you. He channeled it all into you, at a progress that wouldn't kill you. You were in the hospital for 2 weeks because of damage to your chakra coils. They were on the verge of exploding and being torn apart. Jiraiya lets out a concentrated sigh. That is just a theory, but it explains a few things, including your healing abilities. He says again. Jiraiya turns to me. Sasuke, I'm going to remove your paralyzed jutsu. Can I trust you're going to go crazy? I nod my head. Yeah, Jiraiya, I am not my brother and I will prove it my way, the way of Sasuke Uchiha. I say, thinking on my words. I will do what Naruto gave up. I will protect this village for him. I say, almost lying through my teeth. For that lie I'm not going to release you. Jiraiya says, letting out a sigh. However, I'll give you movement of your arms so you can eat. He quickly performs some seals and slaps his hand against my back. He turns to Sakura. Please grab some things for Mr. Uchiha to eat, then follow me. I'd like to see Tsunade. She knows more on your medical record at the hospital than I do. He says. Sakura POV. That's the whole concept by my point, Tsunade-chan, said Jiraiya to Tsunade as she shakes her head low. She turns to me with a sad look in her eyes. Sakura, I'm sorry for how I have been treating you regardless of this new information. You are my student, and you are like a daughter to me. It's just you foolishly led Naruto around by his nose and made him chase after Sasuke. Just for you. Yet not once you acknowledged him or thanked him for always being there for you. I'm sure you're hurting as well over Naruto's death. You had barely got to see him after his return with Jiraiya. She says in a concerned voice. I look at the floor quietly, starting at it. I haven't heard a peep out of my inner self since the Valley of the End. I was beginning to think she had been the one that died in place of me. I shake my head. It's okay, Tsunade-sama, you have the right to hurt just like everyone else. I say in a low voice. Sure, your actions hurt, Tsunade-sama, but I can't blame you. You're hurting as well. I just wish I could have told Naruto that I didn't care about Sasuke anymore. Oh my Kami, did I hear you actually say that? What the hell? You're back, go away. Cha, no. Admit it, you have feelings for the number one loser. I am not having this argument again. Please, I'm hurting enough. Hey, I may be your inner self and annoying, but this time I'm here to help. Help in what? Rubbing in the fact that everyone only sees me as his killer and I didn't even get to tell him thanks for always being with me and how empty I feel without him. Whoa, came down, Sakura. I'm actually wanting to tell you, in those last few moments you did tell him you loved him. You just didn't use words. What are you rambling about? I'm the reason he's dead. He killed himself for me. Hey, don't play that card. He would have died regardless of you jumping in the way. We didn't know he would sacrifice his life for you. If you hadn't jumped in the way, he would have died thanks to Sasuke. Least this way you got to show him how much he meant to you. But. No buts about it, Cha. You know you jumped in the way to save him because you couldn't handle losing him. He learned that too. How does that change the fact that he died because of me or how I feel? Because at least he got the one thing he wanted in the whole world before he died. He got acknowledged and he got the heart of the woman he loved. You can't deny it either. Sakura, are you okay? Asks Tsunade in a concerned tone, snapping me out of my battle. Hi, I'm sorry, I was just zoned out. I say, apologizing. It's okay, Sakura, you don't look so well, you should go home and sleep. She says. I shake my head. No, I can't go home. Not after what my mom said. What did your mom say? She quickly responds. She said, the only thing I seemed to have been go for was killing Naruto, and with that done, only good thing I would be left to is to marry to improve her status. I say as I feel the tears well up in my eyes. I begin to break down, telling her everything that I had heard and did before running into Jiraiya. Damn that Sarah. Cammy, if she wasn't fucking around with Danzo, I could have had her executed years ago. I'm sorry you had to overhear her real side. Tsunade says, rubbing my back as she holds me tightly. Her warm embrace reminds me of how Naruto used to hold me when I was sad during our Sasuke retrieval missions or when I was crying. It just makes me feel worse and worse. I finally pull away from the hug, wiping away my tears. She lets out a deep sigh. Well, Sakura dear, Naruto had told me if you ever needed a place to stay to take his. It's not much, but it's the best I can do for now. Odds are if you go back to your mom's, then she'll force you to sleep with some of the townsfolks or shinobi. Don't worry, I'll make a false hospital statement saying you can't have children anymore due to injuries you received during a mission. She reaches into a drawer of her desk. This is his spare key he made for you. Jiraiya will show it to you, she says, handing me the key. I wrap my hands around it, squeezing it tightly. Thank you, Tsunade-sama. I arrive at a small trashed apartment. The walls seem to be littered with cracks and holes. Everything has the appearance that it has been ransacked and destroyed. I hear Jiraiya's voice raise with temper. Cammy, damn it. They've already destroyed his place, they're pretty quick to things. Well, Sakura, this is it. My eyes gaze around. I suddenly realizes why Naruto's apartment was never clean. He didn't clean it because he knew it would be trashed by the villagers. Sakura, it's now your place, take care of it well. I'm sure he's probably left a few things hidden in here. I know he had emptied his bank account out while we were outside of Konoha and he bought a lot of stuff. Seems most of it's not here, so he probably has it stashed. Just figured I'd give you a heads up on it. I bowed to Jiraiya. Thank you, Jiraiya. I will keep my eyes out for it. Jiraiya nods his head. End of POV. Reason. I was sick of writing in first person. Sakura looks around the trashed apartment. She shuts the door as Jiraiya vanishes, his mind clearly wrapped in thoughts of today. Sakura slowly begins cleaning up some of the clutter and mess, starting around the bed and working her way outwards. Several hours later, she manages to clean up most of the trash and broken objects. She curses herself for never asking Naruto about Kage Bunshin. As she begins scrubbing some of his floors. This is fucking gross, they pissed all over the place as well. What are they, animals? She curses to herself as she scrubs down his floors. Next morning, Sakura lets out a deep sigh. She had managed to clean most of the apartment. It took her all afternoon and night. Lucky, thanks to Jiraiya's advice, she didn't miss a genjutsu hidden scroll under Naruto's bed. Very fortunate, the scroll was actually the list of how to perform a lot of his moves. She was extremely shocked to find the scroll until her inner self explained it was probably a way for him to improve his jutsu without forgetting things and being able to pass them down to others if he chooses to. Inside the scroll contained a refined version of his Kage Bunshin ones that lasted much longer and performed much better than the normal Kage Bunshins. They could even explode, making them dangerous in combat. Though they required much more chakra, and Sakura was only to make 4 of the clones. Regardless, they helped a great deal in cleaning. All that's left is to fix up the walls and maybe a fresh coat of paint. Sakura says with a slight smile. She had finished all of the mess up and cleaned the bathroom. She had sent one of her clones out to buy paint and putty for the walls. She had no clue how to fix walls, but thanks to some of her D-ranked missions that underwent as genin, she knew the basics and how to paint. Several more hours later, I like the new color. Black is perfect, keeps the room dark. She tells herself. She notices that she has basically painted every inch of every wall black. The only white that remained was the kitchen appliances, which didn't even work. The only working thing was the microwave. In the entire apartment, the few things that worked were the windows, which were now broken. The bathroom, sink and the fridge. She was surprised to notice most of the bed was perfectly fine for a queen-size bed. The villager had done nothing wrong to it. Though she knew she'd need to change the sheets later, she didn't care. Naruto's scent seemed to still linger on the sheets and she found it strangely nice. She was about to crash out on the bed when she heard a knock on the door. She thought it was odd for someone to knock on the door, for she had not been expecting company. She opens the door to see her old sensei Kakashi standing in his Anbu outfit. "May I come in, Sakura?" he says in a low, emotionless tone. She just nods her head, letting him inside. "I'm sorry, I'm not done fixing the place up," she says as Kakashi shakes his head. "It's okay. This is probably the best shape I've ever seen this apartment. It doesn't even smell bad anymore," said Kakashi as he removes his mask, placing it in his pocket. He leans against the wall near the door. Sakura turns around, sitting on the bed. "Kakashi-sensei, why have you come here?" Kakashi lets out a small frown. "I just wanted to see my students again." "Why are you in Naruto's apartment?" Sakura frowns slightly. "Well, I've decided to move out of my place, and Tsunade-sama said Naruto said that if I needed a place to stay for her to give me his apartment, and I figured since everyone hates me anyways, staying at his apartments won't matter." Kakashi lets out a sigh. "No one hates you, Sakura. We just miss Naruto. He changed all of us for the better and for the worse. You were the one woman he loved and the last person to be with him alive. No one can look at you without thinking of him. I never intended for him to give his life for me. You were at the valley, you saw my blood everywhere. You know I tried to save him. I don't quite understand what happened, how I'm alive or anything, but I do know he gave his life for me to live mine, and I'm going to live enough for the both of us." Sakura says back, "Least it seems I still have one smart student. If there is anything you need, Sakura, just ask, I'll try to help you." Kakashi says as he replaces his mask. "Actually, Kakashi-sensei, there is." Sakura says, her hands fidgeting with a thread on her dress. "Can you help me become stronger?" Kakashi nods his head. "I can help you become stronger, but why?" "Because that's what I want. I need to become stronger so that like Naruto I can protect those I care for," she says in a nervous voice. "Sure, Sakura. I'll train you at night. During the day you have to work at the hospital. But when you're not working, I'll train you to become as strong as I can and as fast as I can," Kakashi says as he opens the door. "I'm off to go see Sasuke." Sakura nods her head. "See you tonight, Kakashi-sensei. I still don't own Naruto and it's not on eBay. I want to own it. Where can I find it?" "Damn. Enjoy the story. Here's the next installment." "So I'm dead now, eh?" says a blonde blur. "Everything about him is dark and cold. Not quiet, Naruto Uzumaki," says a female voice. It almost has a heavenly ring to it. "Who are you?" says Naruto. "I am Kami." Naruto looks around but sees nothing. "How come I can't see anything?" asks Naruto. "It's just how this place is," says Kami. "What place? Where am I?" asks Naruto. "The world between life and death," Kami says. "Why am I here?" Naruto asks. "Because it is not your time to die yet," she says. "What do you mean?" Naruto asks back. "I have a plan for you, Naruto Uzumaki," says Kami. "What do you mean?" asks Naruto. "You have a kind heart, Naruto, and an even kinder soul. One that has remained warm to others even when others were cold and cruel to you. Thus I am going to send you back to Earth." "Really?" Naruto asks. "Yes, and my faithful Kyuubi will serve for you the same as before, but this time he will not be evil." "Huh?" said Naruto. Kami chuckles. "Come here, Naruto-kun," she said as Naruto walks closer as the blurred image of Kami slowly takes more and more shape. "Wow, she's beautiful, almost as beautiful as Sakura-chan." Naruto is snapped out of his though by a giggling Kami. "Naruto-kun, that's so sweet. Thank you for the comment." She lets out a smile. "Least we have some men still loyal to their hearts, Kitsu-kun," says Kami as a man appears beside her. The man wears a black outfit. He looks much like a human, even stands on two legs, except he has red fox fur skin with ears and foxtails. On his back surround amazing black feathered wings. "Hi, in all my time inside Naruto, his heart never once deflected from that kunoichi, and in the end he was even willing to give up his life to save her." "Are you sure you didn't mess up when you created him, Kami?" snorts Kyuubi. "Ha, Kitsu-kun, you still try to act badass as always." She laughs slightly. "Naruto-kun, I am going to send you back to the mortal world, but there will be many changes to you," she says in a sweet voice. "Like what?" Naruto asks. "Well, first off, Kyuubi won't exactly be a demon. His chakra is back to angelic now that he has earned the right to call himself an angel again. That is something you'll have to get used to. Next is the fact that I bestowed a few gifts upon you." Kami lets out a smile. "For these gifts I have one request," Kami said. "What is that?" Naruto responded. "You eliminate Akatsuki and you keep a pure heart. Never let the power that I am going to bestow upon you corrupt you," she said. "Hi," Naruto responds. "Very well, I will have the Shimigami take you back to the mortal world. Kitsu-kun will escort you." "Goodbye for now, Kami," says Naruto. "Please be careful, Naruto-kun. The trip back can be very difficult even with two guards. It takes a year of constant training and a year for Naruto to eliminate Akatsuki. Unfortunately, during his trip back to the mortal world, both him and Kyuubi had lost their memories of who they were. Now he stand before the destroyed body of Pain, his sword gripped tightly in his hand. He flicks the blood of the blade. He sheathes his sword and look at the rainy sky. I have accomplished what you have asked of me. He will never gain the power to wage war on heaven. Naruto says to the clouds. Master, who are you talking to? Says a sleek fox rather big for his size, he reddish-pink fur laced with orange and black. I don't know, Kyuubi. I just felt like I should say it. What now do we do? Asked Naruto. Well, master, didn't the Pain say you were supposed to be dead? Maybe you died in the past. Maybe he has clues to who you are. You right, I should look around here. I need to get some answers to who I am. Sakura had refined herself into one of the best kunoichi Konoha had ever seen, with only a few blemishes on her whole entire record, in which she would beat the shit out of anyone who dared speak badly of Naruto around her. Yet for all her strengths and beauty, not a single person could get close to her, not even her former sensei and squad captain Kakashi Hatake. As the first year passed, she grew cold and more distant to her friends that had finally begun to speak and hang out with her. During the second year, several felt that she would snap from her hardness. She never spoke more than a few words and only what was necessary. Her pink hair had grown long and placed in 9 long flowing ponytails. Her whole figure became more womanly, yet thanks to her body manipulation she had given herself a frightful appearance to scare of anyone that came near her. She gave herself fox-like ears and extended her fangs by a whole inch. She changed her eyes so they had fox slits. Some say when she fought in battles that were difficult they would hear her cry out soft tears before releasing the seal on her neck. The third year passed like the second. She would be turning 18 very soon. But unlike any normal person, she never took her birthday off or ever celebrated any holiday other than the day of Naruto's death, in which she would drink alone in her apartment until she was nearly dead. She stood before Tsunade, her face hidden behind her masked pink fox mask. Sakura, I know your birthday is coming up, and just like last year you request a long mission. However, I cannot give you any more missions until you see a doctor and a shrink to confirm your health. Me begin, a former medical nin, shall give you your physical, but you will have to see Ino if you wish to pass the shrink evaluation. I will conduct your physical now, Tsunade says, hoping she might for once get her former student to see Ino for help. Hi, is all Sakura says as she begins undressing in front of Tsunade. Tsunade lets out a sigh. I hope Ino can help you. Hold on, Sakura, let me seal up the room and grab my sheet. Tsunade flips through a few hand seals, placing up barriers as she reaches in her desk, pulling out a piece of paper. She places it on a clipboard. As she looks over Sakura's body, she no longer takes care of most of her injuries thanks to the seal on her neck. She heals automatically, though she used her body manipulation jutsu to place a big X-shaped scar across her chest. Her body was completely flawless without a single deformity. She was indeed one of beauty and any slandered. Many men tried to court her, but all would fail as she would coldly reject them. Even her teammate Sasuke tried once but surrendered, claiming her heart would only belong to his brother Naruto. Sakura, you are malnourished. I suggest you start eating better. Hi, Sakura says. Well, like always you pass the physical. Should I keep up the lie of you not being able to have children? Hi, she responds. Very well, get dressed and go see Ino when you get the chance. Tsunade says. Hi. Sakura ends up spending more than several hours with Ino, who finally kicks her out of the office after growing annoyed at her one-word responses. Kami, damn Sakura, I'm going to need to blow off steam with Ibiki now. I hope he's rounded up a few shinobi that are stubborn. Ino let the better half of herself get to her as she approved Sakura's condition. She knew Tsunade would be pissed at her, but she could not stand another minute with Sakura. She had once been her best friend, but even she couldn't get a slight emotion out of Sakura. What made it worse was the fact that Sakura was an Anbu captain. Anbu were supposed to act exactly like she was doing, so she couldn't keep Sakura even if she wanted to. Sakura walked into the Ichiraku ramen bar. Tucci just nods his head as he pulls out a bowl and fills it with ramen. Here you go, Sakura. Sakura nods her head as she lifts up her mask just barely enough to fit the noodles in. Sighs. That Ino can be bothersome. I highly doubt even after being cleared Tsunade-sama is going to send me on a mission. Sakura says to herself as she finishes her bowl of ramen, motioning for another. I hate Tsunade, she's always worrying for me. She motions once again for another bowl. I guess I should head to see if I can't get a mission before bed. I want to be out of her before midnight. Sakura finishes her bowls, leaving the money on the counter with a little extra as a tip to the old man. Sakura, why do you keep wanting to leave before your birthday? Can't you just celebrate it once? Tsunade says in a pleading voice. No, Sakura responds. The Kyuubi kill's birthday should never be celebrated. I was born the day Naruto died. Fine, I'm sending you on a 2-week research mission in the Whirlpool country. She says as she signs a piece of paper. We have been getting stranger rumors of a blonde teen shinobi that has been going by the name Unknown. I want you to investigate this man. He is very powerful. How? Asks Sakura, stating she is asking how powerful is he. He is ranked S in several bingo books. Even his partner, a fox maybe for 3 feet tall and 7 feet long, is ranked S. It's also been rumored he took out the Akatsuki and set free several Biju. Some even say he revived and resealed them in their previous host. Tsunade says as she looks over the list. You're to observe. If you get into any danger, please retreat. You might be our strongest Anbu, but even I don't think you're stronger enough to battle this man one-on-one. Your teammates will be your usual team. You leave effectively before 7 p.m. Hi, Sakura says as she leaves the room. Kyuubi, slow down a little, me and Raven can't keep up, said the Anbu in a white dog mask. Hi, responds Sakura as she reduces her speed. She hears the boy in the Raven mask talk. We shall camp here, we are on the border of Konohagakure. Hi, responds Sakura as she leaps to the ground. Her 3 teammates follow her down. Kyuubi, Raven, Sparrow. Set up camp and find water and food. I'll go over our map, responded the dog Anbu. Hi, respond the 3 as they take off gathering the necessary things. Within moments everyone returns. Sakura clenching a few dead rabbits. Rabbit again, Kyuubi. Screw it, I'm having my reserves, said the Raven. Hi, responds Sakura. After moments of gathering their bearing and eating, the group drift off to sleep. Sakura continues her dreams of a blonde-haired man. He walks with a fox beside him. Hey Kyuubi, we getting close yet? Responds the blonde boy. Not yet, master. Though we did gather quite a bit of intel from that last group of thugs. They said you looked a lot like that Minato Namikaze fellow. Any clue who he is, Kyuubi? Says Naruto as he sits down against the hill, his side against the wind as it sweeps over him, ruffling his hair and clothes. No clue, master. We should travel to that Konohagakure. We've been really unlucky here. You're right. It's like everyone here hates me or something. Kyuubi, wake up, time to go, says the dog masked man. Hi, responds Sakura. Shit, another dream about that guy. Who is he? I can ever get his name. Only thing I ever get is master from that fox who he called Kyuubi. This is so confusing. Cha, no shit. Whoa, you're back now, just fucking great. 3 years of silence ruined. Shut up. Let's try to figure out who that hottie is. You shut up, Sakura counters. Come on, admit it, he's hot. He's cute, but nothing compares to Naruto-kun. This shit again. Although he does look a lot like Naruto. Yeah, watch out, branch. Huh. Suddenly Sakura feels a heavy impact as a branch smacks her in the faces. Real smooth. Kyuubi, you okay? Ask Raven. Hi, Sakura responds, clearly ticked off about the branch hitting her in the face. Target in sight, says Sparrow as the group slows down. Naruto looks around. Fox, we are being followed again. I see that, master. Want me to kill them? No, Fox. They pose no threat at the moment, besides I'm still busy thinking about that girl again. You mean that insane girl from your dreams? Yeah, what did she do this time? She was dashing through the forest with a group of shinobi. Almost exactly like the ones following us. Maybe we should beat this group up and see what they know. Only if you promise not to kill anyone this time. Master, you're too soft. I am not saying that because I'm soft. What happens if you kill the one with the only valuable information, nay? Good point. Naruto turns around. Show yourselves, I know you've been following me for the last hour. You can come out and peacefully talk, or I can use force, says Naruto to the group of shinobis behind him. He can hear them cursing, deciding what to do. He hears one of them say to the female, Kyuubi, let's split. Hokage-sama said to only Scout. Naruto smirks. So one of you is named Kyuubi. How interesting. Now I'm not going to let you get away until I get some answers. Naruto pulls out a kunai, swirling it about on his finger. He flicks it with a bit of chakra as one of the men lets out a scream of pain. You won't be able to move. That's a special paralyzing kunai jutsu. I crafted it myself. Naruto explains as he walks closer and closer to the group. He notices them pick up their comrade. Problem for you guys is now that you have an immobilized comrade, you won't be able to escape unless you leave him. Naruto says in a cool voice. Shit, he's really good. He tagged Kakashi-sensei without even breaking a sweat. Sakura tells herself as she looks to her former sensei for permission to attack. Captain. Kakashi nods his head. Leave me here, Kyuubi. You guys need to escape. Sakura shakes her head. No. The rest of the group nod their heads, agreeing. They pull out their kunai and unsheathe their swords. Naruto looks over the group as he hears the pinpricking sound of metal clanging. Looks like they want to die for their captain. Let's just rough them up a bit, okay, Kyuubi? Says Naruto to his companion. Yes, master. Suddenly the fox lets out a loud defying roar as he begins to enlarge into a massive fox with 9 tails swinging about the air, wrapping around his tail's flames, lighting its paws on fire. Sakura's eyes widen at the sight of the massive fox. Kyuubi no Kitsune. How? That man. Sparrow, Raven, cover me, I'm going in. Sakura says as she tightens the grip on her kunai. She lunges at the man who grabs her kunai handle. His voice is husky and deep. You should never charge at your opponent until you know his strengths. Says Naruto as he holds up one hand. Rasengan. Naruto screams out as he slams his Rasengan into Sakura's stomach, sending her flying into a tree. He notices the two gathering around Sakura, one clearly holding the Mangekyo Sharingan. He watches the man flip through several seals as his hand floods with chakra. The man beside him yanks out a scroll as he sends inked tigers flying at them. Kyuubi quickly dispatches the tigers as the Sharingan man dashes at Naruto. Chidori! The man screams out. Naruto's eyes widen as he hears the name of the move. That move. It was in my dream. Says Naruto as the man rams his fist through Naruto's chest. Naruto winces in pain. He grabs the mont's arm, holding him in place. You. Who are you? That move. You must tell me, who are you? Whoami, do you know? Naruto scream out the last part at the man. Sasuke struggles to free his arm when suddenly Sakura attacks Naruto from the side, causing him to release his hold on Sasuke's arm. Naruto stumbles back, just narrowly escaping Sakura's punch. Do you know who I am? Asks Naruto in a questioning voice. Sakura responds in a cold voice. Unknown. Naruto jumps back as he notices Sasuke approaching from his side. Naruto shout out, Kyuubi, I'm releasing it. The fox nods his head. As Naruto begins to glow a bright whitish yellow. His back sprouts out feathered wings as blocks Sasuke kick. He uses his other wing to lift himself into the sky. Suddenly Sasuke sprouts his level 2 curse seal, joining Naruto in the sky as they duel it out one-on-one. Naruto quickly is taken down by Sasuke, who barely clips one of Naruto's wings with his sword. Naruto falls to the ground. Damn it. Kyuubi, looks like these shinobi are stronger than we expected. Return, we are going to merge. Hi, responds the fox. Within moments he vanishes as Naruto glows with bright red chakra tails seem to whip around him, stunning both Sasuke and Sakura. Sakura wastes no time in releasing her seal on her neck. I can't believe I'm going to have to release it all on the man. Why does it hurt me inside to fight him? Sakura asks herself as she lets the seal on her neck rotate and spin, sending chakra surging through her body. She quickly turns to Sasuke, motioning for him inside to grab Kakashi and flee. Sasuke nods. Hi, he responds as he vanishes. Sakura stares down Naruto as she lets pink tails whirl about her, clashing with Naruto's red tails. She smiles slightly in the knowledge of a real fight she might lose. Tell me your real name, unknown. She asks politely, moving into her taijutsu stance. I don't know my name. Responds Naruto, hoping she would answer. That's a lie, everyone knows their name. Sakura says as she dashes at Naruto, hoping to beat him while his mind is still wrapped up in wherever it is at. Naruto dodges her kicks as his tails clash with hers. He charges chakra into his hand. How about you tell me yours? Unknown asks Sakura as she jumps back, avoiding his Rasengan. No, she responds. Naruto lets out a sigh as she jumps away. You're just like that woman in my dream. Sakura, I think her name was. Naruto says as he sends his tails after her. He leaps forwards. Sakura dodges his kick and punches with nimbleness. Her long pink hair brushes across his face as she dodges one of his punches. Suddenly Naruto stops her, just stares at her mask. He notices a tear run down his cheek. "You are the girl from my dreams," he says, staring at her. Sakura stops short of him as she notices he is no longer in a fighting pose, just standing there staring at her, a tear running down his cheek. "What are you talking about? I've never met you in my life," Sakura says as she stares at Naruto. Naruto stares at her, his eyes locked with hers. He suddenly feels his chakra subside as his heart seems to take over. I used to call you Sakura-chan. Why did I call you Sakura-chan?" Sakura flinches at his words. "No, you can't be," she tells herself out loud as she stares at Naruto. Her eyes gazes over his cheeks. She suddenly notices for the first time his long whisker mark on his cheeks. "Naruto-kun," she says in a low, teary tone. "Who is Naruto?" Naruto asks, questioning. Sakura removes her mask as lifeless jade orbs begin to flicker to life as they look into Naruto's blue eyes. "Be you, but you are supposed to be dead." Naruto stares at her face, the first time he has gotten to look at her actual face. His eyes seem to gaze across her face. Her looks look so similar to all the dreams of the young girl. "Tell me please, whoami?" Naruto shouts out at Sakura, who remains silent. Please I beg of you, tell me, who am I, Sakura-chan?" "Naruto-kun," she mutters out as she looks over her former comrade. Her body seems to act upon impulse as she finds herself hugging Naruto tightly. Tears that have built up for over 3 years seem to erupt at once as she cries into Naruto's chest. "Naruto-kun, Naruto-kun, why don't you remember me? Why did you leave me, Naruto-kun?" she cries out as Naruto stares down at her. Something about her tears seems to stir his heart. She's crying. Why do I hate to see her crying? Why does she keep calling me Naruto-kun? Naruto hugs Sakura tightly. "My name, is it Naruto?" Naruto asks, questioning as he feels Sakura nod into his chest. "Yes, your name is Naruto Uzumaki," Sakura responds. "That name, it sounds so familiar. It has to be my name. No doubt about it," Naruto tells himself as he looks at the kunoichi crying in his arms. "Sakura-chan," Naruto said, wrapping his arms around her. "Naruto-kun," she mumbled out, sobbing into his chest. A long time passes as they stand in the breeze holding each other. Till Sakura finally let go. "Don't you remember anything, Naruto-kun?" Sakura asks. "No, just what I see in my dreams. Even they are fuzzy." Naruto explains his dreams, both the good and the bad, that he remembers as Sakura tries to fill him in the best she can. Naruto slowly begins remembering fuzzy things, mostly about the times he had spent with her and his constant chasing of her, along with her head bashings, which makes slightly uneasy for a while before she explains that she did it because he was acting stupid. She also filled him in on his perverted sensei Jiraiya, which seemed to earn a lot of laughs from him. Suddenly Kyuubi approaches them. "Master, it's getting late, we should set up camp." Naruto lets out a deep sigh as he looks up at the sky. "Have we been talking that long? Sakura-chan, might you help me set it up so we can talk longer?" Sakura nods her head. "Come, we can camp near the river, just an hour away from here." Naruto nods his head as he follows the pink-haired kunoichi through the woods. "Naruto-kun, you must return to the village with me. Everyone will be so relieved to see you home," Sakura explains as she hands Naruto some of her reserve food. Naruto scratches his head. "I guess that wouldn't be so bad. But first I would like to understand these things you have been telling me. From what I gather, you're telling me I'm supposed to be dead. I was supposed to have died in the Valley of the End when I saved you. I believe you, for that pain guy the first killed said I was supposed to be dead. I would just like a few days to understand everything before I go back to a village that has presumed me dead." Sakura nods her head, just happy to see Naruto still alive. "Anything for you, Naruto-kun," she says as she leans against him. Naruto chuckles slightly. "You know, you in my dreams you were always so cold and emotionless. I would never have guessed you had a soft side." Sakura glares at him. She cracks her knuckles in humor of scaring Naruto. "I was cold and emotionless because I was still in pain over your death, Naruto-kun." Naruto lets out a smile. "Oh, well, you're much more beautiful when you have a smile on your face." Sakura blushes slightly as she looks to the sky. "I wonder what Tsunade-sama is going to say when she sees you. She nearly destroyed half of Konoha trying to get after Sasuke." Suddenly Naruto feels a surge of pain flood his head as he hunches over from hearing the names. Bits of blurry images flash through his mind faster than his mind could keep up. Sasuke, Teme, Grua. Naruto sputters out as he clenches his head. Naruto awoke with Sakura starting down at him. He rubs his cheeks, her hands brushing the soft ticklish whiskers of his cheek. Are you okay Naruto-kun? You blacked out for 2 whole days. Sakura says in a very concerned voice. Naruto nods his head. My mind got overloaded. Sakura nodded her head. It's okay Naruto-kun. How does your head feel? I can make it a little better. Naruto smiles. It's okay, I just remembered a lot you could say. How is Sasuke Teme doing? He was the one I was fighting earlier. Sakura smiles knowing that he has regained more of his memories. He's getting better, still obsessed with killing his brother and becoming stronger, but he doesn't let it overpower his mind. Naruto smiles. That's nice. Sakura grabs Naruto's hand. So what else do you remember now? Naruto tells Sakura about his memories of them as a Team 7 and his feelings for Sakura, Kakashi, and Sasuke. Everyone else still made a lot of blurs in his head. Sakura lays a kiss on Naruto's cheek. Naruto-kun, when do you want to go back to the village? I think they might start getting concerned with my disappearance. Naruto rubs his head. When do you want to go? Sakura stands up, entwining Naruto's hand with her. Let's go now. Naruto notices a strange bump on Sakura's ring finger. He holds up her hand, staring at the bump. Sakura-chan, is your finger okay? You have a large bump on it. He asks, concerned. Sakura blushes a deep shade of red as she realized she never took of the ring she had found in Naruto's apartment at the end of the first year. It had hit her hard when she found the ring. She remembered the box inscribed with her name. It was a beautiful deep red wood, possibly cherry box, with Sakura petals finely drawn as if by a master painter. On the box inside rested a dazzling pure gold ring. The inside inscribed, I will always love you forever, my Sakura blossom. The ring had made her cry for several weeks as she stared at it. Side note: shinobis aren't allowed to have fancy rings because if an enemy noticed they could take advantage of it. So it must be concealable. One day she decided to put it on and she just kept it on, never taking it off. Yeah, my finger's fine Naruto-kun. She blushed slightly redder. You sure Sakura-chan? Naruto asked, still not understanding. Yes, I'm just wearing the ring you bought me a long time ago. I hope you're not upset. She says, blushes even redder. Naruto ponders for a moment as it suddenly hits him what she was talking about. Wait, was it inside a very decorative case? Sakura nods her head. Hi, that was an engagement ring I bought you. But I don't recall ever giving it to you. Course I don't recall you ever calling me Naruto-kun. Naruto says, still in confusion. I found it while living at your place. I hope you don't mind me wearing it. She says, trying to hold back her worry of Naruto getting upset with her. You can keep it on one condition, Sakura-chan. Naruto says as a smirk forms across his face. What? Sakura asks hesitantly. You marry me. After all, that is the reason I bought the ring for you. Naruto says with a smile. Sakura blushes a deep red as she kisses Naruto on the cheek, smiling. Of course I'll marry you, Naruto-kun. Sakura and Naruto walk hand in hand towards Konoha. As they reach the gate, Naruto stops her. Wait, I should transform into a hedge. If I remember correctly, the villager weren't too kind to me before and I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings when I can't remember who they are. Sakura nods her head, perfectly agreeing with Naruto. Okay, but we do have to tell Tsunade-sama of your return. She is the Hokage after all. Sakura says. Naruto cast a few hand signs as he creates a hedge, transforming his blonde spiky hair to a long black hair, his eyes into a dull brown. His whiskers vanishing. Sakura frowns at the hedge, performing how Naruto looked as himself over his hedge. She just smiles and she places her Anbu mask on her face. We will have to keep up and act then. Sakura says with slight disappointment that she has to act like her cold self again. Hokage-sama. Sakura Haruno has returned and request your audience, says one of the guards through the door. Tsunade raises her head as she lets her mind kick in. Sakura better have a good excuse. She's had me worried sick. It was not uncommon for Sakura to disappear from her team at times, claiming she needed to be alone, yet it was the first time she had vanished on a mission, not to mention during a fight. Kakashi had reassured her that she was okay, for there was evidence of a major fight, and Pakun said there was no major blood that would indicate the girl's death, which meant Sakura had went wherever she did by her own will and didn't resist. He had even found a sealed scroll from Sakura saying she was safe. Sure, the news lightened Tsunade's heart slightly in hearing that her student wasn't kidnapped but left where by her will and that she wasn't dead, but she still worried to hell. Sakura walked into the room with a strange man beside her. Tsunade looked the man over. She then turned to Sakura. "Where the hell have you been and who is he?" she screams, letting her temper get the better of her. "Tsunade-sama this." She tries to think of how to put it when Naruto bluntly spills it. "I'm Sakura's husband. Pleased to meet you, ma'am." Naruto says, not at all remembering Tsunade. Tsunade's eyes twitch as she looks over her student. "Sakura, explain." Now, she speaks, letting her killer intent loose, making even Naruto cringe. "Hi," Sakura responds. "This is my husband Naruto," she says, pointing to Naruto, who looks at Sakura with the question of should I release the hedge. Tsunade twitches slightly, about to ram her fist into her student. "Kami Sakura, please tell me you didn't marry someone because they had the same name as Naruto. Please say it isn't so." She is suddenly snapped out of her thoughts as Naruto releases his hedge. He smiles slightly. Tsunade stares over Naruto. He looks just like Naruto. But how? Naruto is dead. I was there. I felt his chakra signature vanish. That only happens when someone dies. Sakura quickly catches up on Tsunade's speechless reaction. "Yes, Tsunade-sama, it's Naruto, but he doesn't really have any of his memories anymore. I don't quite know how he's still alive, but it is Naruto, I'm positive." Naruto bows his head very politely. "I'm sorry that I don't remember you, ma'am. I hope it isn't too upsetting. Sakura-chan used to say you were like an adopted sister to me. Please forgive me for not remembering." Tsunade nods her head as she walks over to Naruto, examining him thoroughly. "You look like Naruto. You even sound like him. Yet you don't act like him." Sakura nods her head. "I believe that has to do with his memory loss. But he does know all of Naruto's jutsus, even Rasengan. You know as well as I do that Jiraiya has taught no one else. Not only that, he does have a lot of his memories of me, Sasuke and Kakashi, just a few blanks." Sakura says as she tries to reassure Tsunade it's not some imposter. Tsunade gives Naruto a tight hug. "Naruto, I'm so glad you're back," Tsunade said as she cried on Naruto's shoulder. After a while, Naruto and Sakura begin explaining things to Tsunade, and Naruto explained to his best of knowledge about what memories he actually had. As she even helped fill his blanks. "Alright Naruto, I'm going to go ahead and approve your marriage to Sakura. I just need you to sign the papers," Tsunade says as she hands a scroll to Sakura and Naruto, who quickly sign it. "Until you choose, you reveal yourself, you shall be called Shin Nami," Tsunade adds as she turns to Naruto once more. "I'm glad to have you back, Naruto. I hope you regain all of your memories soon." She smiles as she looks over to Sakura. "Least you can stop being a deranged psycho now." She chuckles at Sakura, who only looks at the floor. "Well, you two are dismissed now," Tsunade said, breaking the silence of the room. Naruto nods as he recast his hedge as he leaves with Sakura, who replaces her mask. Sakura walks beside Naruto, maintaining her old expression. "Food?" she states very cruelly. Naruto nods his head as Sakura lead him to eat chiraku in the fading sunlight. They quietly sit down as Tucci hands Sakura a bowl of ramen. He turns to Naruto, who is still in his hedge. "What may I get you, sir?" Tucci says in a professional manner. "What she's having," Naruto says in a polite tone. Tucci smiles. "Why, certainly, I must say this is a first. Seeing Sakura come in with someone. Who might you be, if you don't mind me asking?" he says in a very polite tone, trying to find out who this mysterious man is. "I'm Shin Nami," Naruto responds as he quickly downs the ramen, motioning for another bowl. Tucci smiles and hands him one after another. He is amazed to say the least at how fast and how many Naruto downs. Sakura, who manages to only pull for 3 max, was on her second bowl where Naruto was on his 10th. I haven't seen anyone eat like that since my favorite customer passed away." "You sure know how to pack it away," Tucci said as he stares in amazement. Suddenly the divider cloth moves to the side as Ino walks in. She stares at Sakura, noticing Naruto, who is sitting rather close to Sakura, who never let anyone sit in a set next to her. "Forehead, where have you been? Tsunade-sama was worried sick about you," she asked, trying to pry her friend into talking. "Away," Sakura responds very coldly. Ino hops into the set beside Sakura, testing to see if maybe she would allow her to sit next to her. "Space," Sakura responds, giving Ino a deadly glare, causing Ino to jump off the seat and move a few seats down. Geez Sakura, what gives you're letting a complete stranger sit next to you yet you won't let your own best friend sit next to you. Ino says, a little ticked off that Sakura still wouldn't let her sit next to her. Sakura stares at Ino before pulling out some money. She is stopped by Naruto. Let me, Sakura-chan, says Naruto as he pulls out his money and slams it down, insisting on paying. Come, responds Sakura very coldly. As they leave, Ino stops her. Sakura, who is he? He just called you Sakura-chan. Ino asks, very curious that her best friend didn't even flinch or care that the stranger called her Chan, which she knew for a fact that when Sasuke called her Chan she almost killed him. Husband, said Sakura in an ice-cold voice as she vanished behind the cloth. What the fuck did she just say, husband? What the fuck? I need to see Tsunade-sama right now, Ino said as she ran to Tsunade's office, completely ignoring her meal. It didn't take very long for the word to spread like wildfire thanks to Ino, who blabbed it to just about everyone, even Kakashi, trying to find out who the hell Shin was and how and why he married Sakura, who is a complete cold-hearted bitch in everyone's view. Kakashi-san, says Ino as she stops Kakashi in the one place he always is. Huh? Kakashi says as he turns around to see Ino behind him. Can I help you, Ino? He asked politely. Kakashi, do you know anything about Shin Nami? Ino asked, hoping that if anyone knew it, as her squad captain and former teacher Kakashi Hitaki. Who is that? Kakashi asks, slightly curious of why Ino would be asking him and not Tsunade. Well, Tsunade-sama says he's Sakura's husband, she even showed me the marriage papers. But she won't tell me anything else, claiming they just showed up and got married. Ino says, hoping that Kakashi would know something. Kakashi raises an eyebrow. Really now? I'm terribly sorry, Ino, but I don't know who he is, and you know Sakura never opens up to anyone, that includes me. I was just hoping you might have known something, you are her squad captain after all. Ino says in a disappointed voice. Kakashi shakes his head. I don't know anything, but I will go and ask her, maybe I can find something out. Kakashi says, trying to ease the worried Ino. Sakura leads Naruto quietly into the apartment as she shuts the door and places up several privacy seals. Naruto-kun, welcome home, Sakura says with a smile as she removes her mask. Naruto releases his head, smiling back. I remember this place. Wow, you've changed it a lot, Sakura-chan, Naruto says as he looks around. So dark though, he adds as he notices almost everything is black. Naruto-kun, you look tired, let's get some sleep, maybe a good night's sleep will do you some good, she says, giggling at Naruto, who blushes at the thought of sharing the same bed with Sakura. Where am I going to sleep, Sakura-chan? Naruto asks in a curious voice, not wanting to jump to any conclusions that might result in a severe beating. In the bed, of course, Naruto-kun, she said as she grabs a scroll labeled night clothes. Then where are you going to sleep, Sakura-chan? Naruto says, slightly confused. In the bed, of course, Naruto-kun, Sakura said with a giggle as she prances off to the bathroom to change. She shouts out from behind the bathroom door. Relax, Naruto-kun, we are married. It would be kind of silly if we couldn't share a bed, don't you think? She says as she turns on the water, taking a shower. Naruto looks at the bed. Yeah, I guess it would be, he says as he pulls a small scroll out of his pocket. Thank Kami, I learned how to miniature and multi-scroll, Naruto says as he flips through a few seals, removing the barrier seal before wiping some blood onto the seal, releasing several more scrolls, about 12 total. He looks through the scrolls, finally selecting on that reads light clothes. He lifts up the scroll before sealing the rest back into the original scroll as he places it on a nearby desk in the corner of the room. Kakashi knocks on Sakura's door, only now finding the time to be able to escape from Rin. Yes, Kakashi's Rin. I just can't think of who to pair him up with, and he's too cool to be single, so she randomly came back during Naruto's death lapse, who had been nagging him over not paying attention to things, which ironically he wasn't paying attention to her nagging. Instead he had his face in his icha, which she hit him over the head and called a baka, saying he was turning into Obito. Kakashi can hear a faint mumbling and whispering, but not well enough to make it out. He watches the door open, to much surprise as Sakura was not wearing her Anbu outfit, which she almost always wears even to bed. Kakashi, she responds in a cold voice to Kakashi. Oi, hello Sakura. I was wondering if I could come in and talk for a bit. Kakashi smiles slightly, hoping Sakura wouldn't slam the door in his face. Sakura-chan, let him in, says a male voice from behind Sakura, who lets out a sigh. Hi, she responds as she slowly opens the door. Well, I shouldn't be surprised Ino did say she was married. Kakashi tells himself, trying to pull himself out of the shock of hearing the voice. Kakashi steps in as Sakura shuts the door, recasting the privacy seals. Kakashi stares down Naruto, who is now in his hedge. Naruto studies Kakashi over and over. You're Kakashi. I remember you. Naruto blurts out, earning a confused glance from Kakashi. Sakura sits down next to Naruto. Yes, it's Kakashi-sensei, Sakura says in a surprisingly warm voice, earning a completely shocked expression from Kakashi, who stares at Sakura. What's going on? How does he know me? Sakura. Who is he? My Sharingan says he's clearly in a hedge. Kakashi points to his activated Sharingan. Sakura lowers her head. This is why I didn't want to let him in, Naruto-kun, Sakura says in an annoyed voice. Kakashi nearly faints as his jaw drops. Did she just call him Naruto-kun? I don't understand. Tsunade-sama said he was called Shin. Not to mention she just used kun. Kakashi watches as Naruto releases his hedge. He faints as his eyes cast over Naruto's familiar blonde spiky hair and long whisker-marked cheeks. Sakura lets out a sigh. Look what you did to Kakashi-sensei, she says as she rises from the bed and begins pumping a little chakra into his head to awake him. I'm sorry, Sakura-chan. I didn't expect him to be so shocked or faint. He was never one before to show such things, Naruto says as he watches Kakashi awaken from his sleep. I demand a full explanation right now from the both of you, Kakashi says as he holds his head, rubbing it from where it hit the ground in his fall. Sakura looks to Kakashi. Well, I can't really explain it. Other than it's Naruto-kun, he just doesn't exactly have his memories, Sakura says, trying to think of a correct way to explain it. How do you know it's Naruto? Kakashi asked, not wanting to get his hopes up. I remember your Kakashi-sensei. I dropped an eraser on your head the first time you meet us, Naruto says, rubbing his head to try and make the memory less blurry. I also remember you have a thing for Icha books written by a frog. No. Who is he? A pervert. Yes, a pervert, I'm positive, Naruto says, smiling at the fact that he remembered Kakashi and part of Jiraiya. A major part, may I add. Kakashi looks over his student as questions flood his mind. What happened to you? I thought you died, Naruto. Everyone felt your chakra's signature die out, Kakashi says, hoping to find out some answers. I don't know. That's still a blur to me. I remember the fight, but after I took it into the forest, nothing. I remember waking up in the same spot with my fox friend. Naruto decides to leave out his name because he learned from Sakura that the town hates a fox called Kyuubi, which was inside him. Kakashi frowns slightly. Oh. Sakura clears her throat as she begins to explain everything that has happened so far. Kakashi is sitting down in a chair, his mind practically screaming overload as he listens to Sakura finish her long explanation. And you can't tell anyone it's Naruto-kun. He doesn't want to hurt anyone's feelings because he can't remember who they are. Besides, you know how these villagers would act to Naruto's sudden return. Sakura finishes as she lets out a deep breath, relieved that she is done talking. Kakashi nods his head. Hi, I shall keep it quiet. If you'll excuse me, I need to sort out my mind and let my brain catch up to all the information, Kakashi says as he rises from the chair. Sakura nods her head as she escorts her sensei out of the apartment. As she closes the door, she feels Naruto wraps his arms around her waist, kissing the crook of her neck, earning a soft moan from Sakura. Naruto-kun, she whispers out as she places the privacy jutsu up. Naruto lifts up Sakura bridal style, carrying her over the bed. I love you, Sakura-chan. That I do remember, not with just my head but my heart, Naruto says as he lays her down in the bed, kissing her neck over and over as he kisses her on the lips, snuggling her up against him. You're my Sakura-chan, never leave me please, Naruto says as he looks deeply in her eyes. Without you I am not complete, without you I am not happy. Without you I can't live, he whispers softly into her ear as a tear runs down his cheek. Sakura holds him tightly. I'll never leave you, Naruto-kun. I love you too much, I can't live without you either. I will never be happy with anyone else, Sakura declares as the couple drift off to sleep. Naruto and Sakura are stirred awake by a hazy fog. Sakura immediately jumps out of the bed, grabbing her Anbu gear. Naruto, get dressed, there is an emergency meeting. She runs into the bathroom. Naruto leaps to his feet. On instinct he grabs his scroll, releasing it and dressing in blinding speed. He grabs a second scroll from the pants of his pervious long john and pants. The scroll labeled Special Gear. Naruto unseals his clothing scroll and grabs a pair of standard black shinobi pants with a navy blue shirt tightly hugging his finely toned body. He grabs a pitch black red cloud cloak he looted off Pain the Akatsuki leader. He throws it on as Sakura walks out of the bathroom. Not recognizing Naruto in the cloak, she grabs Hikanai. How did you get in here? Akatsuki scum. Her words startle Naruto as he turns round. Sakura-chan, it's me, Naruto says, unbuttoning the collar. Sakura lowers her kunai as she lets out a sigh. Naruto, you can't wear that cloak. Naruto shakes his head. Don't worry, I'll hedge it. It's a good scare tactic if anyone tries to fight me. Sakura nods her head agreeing, for she was royal scared so bad she almost pissed herself. Fine, but give me a warning next time you scared me to death. Naruto nods. Hi, but don't worry, all the Akatsuki are dead here. Akatsuki loved working as pairs, so here, take this. Naruto tosses another cloak at Sakura as his eyes narrow to show his seriousness. I'm a ranked S criminal. If you're going to be married to me, you're going to have to learn how to scare your opponents away without fighting. These cloaks do the job most of the time. Inside the pocket you will find a telepathy ring. It will allow us to communicate without words and even astral project ourselves. I don't have the projection thing down, but telepathy is simple. You think of the person you want to hear your thought, then you tell them whatever you wish to say in your head. Sakura nods her head as she places the cloak on. She quickly casts a hedge of herself to hide the cloak as Naruto repeats casting his Shin-Nami hedge. The two dash out of the apartment to the Hokage meeting chambers. Tsunade stand before the group of shinobis. Alright, listen up, I'm sorry to have awoken many of you, but I need a special group of 6 to volunteer for a suicide mission. Then a backup group of 4 to cover the 6 retreat if they survive. Please step forward and I will brief you once everyone leaves. Sakura is the first to step forward, followed by Sasuke, Kakashi and Sai. Ino follows next with Choji. Tsunade nods her head. Back squad please. Shikamaru, Neji, Hinata and Lee step forward. Thank you. Oh, and will Shin-Nami please step forward? I would like you to be in the main group as well. Naruto nods his head as he walks up to the Hokage. Hi, he responds in an ice-cold tone. Tsunade turns to the rest of the group. I want all of you to patrol the borders. Dismissed. She dismisses the rest as the flicker away. Alright you guys. I have an urgent retrieval mission. You are to go to the Land of Rain and retrieve a secret scroll from the Akatsuki base. This scroll contains all of Konoha's battle tactics and design grids. It must be retrieved at all cost. Hi, responds the group. Naruto looks to Tsunade. Hokage-sama, please explain the group standing. Tsunade nods. Shikamaru, who is on reserves, will be the leader and planner. Kakashi, one of our best Anbu, will lead the main group. You will be a part of the main group. Hi, responds Naruto. What is the status of enemies? Well, since it is the Akatsuki base, we assume Akatsuki, but we have also received intelligence that a group called Sekigo from the village hidden in stone, our longtime war enemy, is also there. They are rumored to be extremely powerful, if not more powerful than Akatsuki. Says Tsunade, earning a shocked gasp from everyone but Naruto, who simply in a cold, serious tone responds. Hi. His unusual calmness and coldness earns him a few eyes from the group as he sigh mutter. I think I'm starting to see why Sakura married him, he's as bad as her. Naruto grins slightly. As Tsunade interrupts his thoughts. Shin, I trust in your abilities to pull this group out if they get into too much trouble. Naruto nods his head. Hi, I will protect them with my life. Tsunade nods. Okay, dismissed. Oh Shikamaru, I have written down everything on this scroll here, take it. Shikamaru nods. The group reaches the border of the rain country as Shikamaru calls everyone to a halt. Let's camp here. We don't want to exhaust ourselves in case we get into trouble. I also want to read this scroll. The group responds with a hi as they touch down on the ground. Naruto moves next to Sakura as they sit quietly nodding to one another. Sakura, should I tell Shikamaru that he should not include the Akatsuki? Naruto asks Sakura. That would be best, also might be good if we hand out a few of these rings. How many do you have? 12. I'll consider it. Naruto approaches Shikamaru, quietly piercing him with a glare, sending a shiver down Shikamaru's spine. What do you want, Shin? Naruto slowly closes his eyes. Talk. Private. Shikamaru looks around. What's wrong with here? I trust everyone around here. Private. Naruto keep up his glare, earning a troublesome from Shikamaru. The scroll says I should listen to your advice. So I'll do it. Shikamaru throws his hands up as a sign of defeat. Everyone, I'll be right back, I need to check something out. Shin will cover me. Naruto and Shikamaru disappeared with a leaf flicker technique. Shikamaru stops Naruto as he turns to him. Shin, why did you want to talk to me alone? Do not worry about the Akatsuki, they no longer exist. Naruto says in a cold tone. How do you know this? Asked Shikamaru. My code name is Shin, but others call me Unknown. Naruto says as he releases the hedge, revealing the Akatsuki cloak. Please do not be alarmed. I am no threat. If I wanted to kill you, Guy the First could have a while back. Shikamaru nods his head. So unknown it is. Least I can calculate a better plan. Naruto nods his head as he pulls out a scroll. Wife told me to give everyone an Akatsuki cloak and ring. The rings have the ability of telepathy, which will be useful. Shikamaru nods as he accepts this scroll. Thank you, the telepathy will give us an extraordinary advantage over our radios. Naruto nods as he watches Shikamaru form his thinking hand seals. Suddenly Naruto hunches over, grabbing his head. Arg, not again. Naruto screams out as he holds his head. Suddenly Sakura appears from the tree. She grabs Naruto, wrapping her arms around him as the telepathy floods some of his thought to her as well. She lets out a wince of pain. Shin, I'm here. She removes the Akatsuki ring, cutting the telepathy and letting her mind reject itself. Shikamaru turns to Sakura. What's wrong with Shin? Will he be okay to fight? Sakura nods her head. He's just having trouble with his thoughts. He should be fine. Go back to the group. Shikamaru, hand out the cloaks, but tell them to wait on the rings until we return. Shikamaru nods his head as he vanishes. His mind locked in more thought than ever now. This is very troublesome. Very troublesome indeed. We have a very powerful member in our group that will lead the front, but he's having mind problems, which makes these rings problematic. If he relapses into it again, then we all will be affected. Though it seems just removing the rings cuts out our problems. Another problem is trust. Can we trust that man? Sakura seems to trust him very much if she married him. But that could have been a decoy trap. Though if that was the case and he really is unknown, he could have wiped us all out at the meeting. So we will have to assume he is on our side. Well, Akatsuki shouldn't be a problem. Sakura was wearing the cloak as well, and I have 10 cloak here. That was all the Akatsuki member plus 2. No, as for the mission. This is going to be a very troublesome mission. Shikamaru finishes his debate in his head as he reaches the group. Everyone turns to him. Where's Shin? Why did Sakura take off like she did? Ask Ino in a slightly concerned voice. Shikamaru raises his hand, telling everyone to sit. Shin is having a small problem. Sakura is helping him. Sasuke turns to Shikamaru. Shikamaru, I've been meaning to ask you for some time. Who are they really? Both Shin and Sakura had hedges. Are they really Sakura and Shin? Sasuke bluntly states his question. Shikamaru nods his head. Half and half. Shikamaru pulls out the scroll and unseal it. First of, Sakura had a hedge to hide what I'm about to give you, because if she didn't, we would have tried to kill her. Shikamaru watches the scroll unwrap into 10 scrolls. These are the Akatsuki cloaks. Inside the cloak pockets is a telepathy ring. Do not put them on until they return. That's what Sakura told me. He unseals one of the scrolls, revealing the Akatsuki cloak. He quickly threw the cloak on and passes the scroll to the others, who do the same. Sasuke looks at the cloak. Where did Shin get these? Sasuke asks, ironically grabbing Itachi's cloak. That's the other half. Shin is just a code name Tsunade-sama gave him. His real name is unknown. Shikamaru states as everyone stares at him shocked. Sasuke turns to Kakashi. That's the guy we were following when Sakura disappeared. Kakashi nods his head, knowing the full truth. Don't worry, Sasuke, we can trust him. I went to Sakura's apartment at 1 a.m. to confront her about her husband. After Ino questioned me, I went and directly to Tsunade to confirm, and she did. I also know he can be trusted. He has proven it to me. Shikamaru nods. Well, that's good. Though I can say we are going to trust him. However, I believe we can trust him on Akatsuki being eliminated. The cloaks are proof. So here my plan so far. As Shikamaru finishes his plan, he sees Sakura emerging from the trees with Naruto's arm draped over her for support. They leap quiet slowly. Naruto's face is long and exhausted looking, sweat pouring down his face, his fatigue clearly visible. His blonde spiky hair is all the cloak reveals. Naruto lands in front of everyone. Forgive my lateness. You can put the rings on now. They work by simply thinking of the person or the name of the person and speaking to them in your head. Sakura sits Naruto down as she continues where he left off. If you start to see memories flashing through your head that clearly aren't yours, please take your ring off immediately. If you don't, you'll end up like Shin. Your mind will overload and you could lose consciousness. Shikamaru turns to Sakura. I've already told them Shin is unknown. Care to elaborate on it, Sakura? Sakura nods her head. Shin is called unknown for the simple fact that he doesn't have any of his memories. We have taken him into the village, so he is an official Konoha shinobi. The reason why I say if you start seeing memories to take of the ring is some events trigger parts of his memories to lash out at him. Since the rings are telepathic, there is a chance the memory can be passed on to you. To many and you'll black out. Shikamaru nods. I see. Well, we will have to use the rings regardless of the risk. We also know we can cancel out the effects even while they're happening like you did. Sakura nod her head. Hi. How long does Shin need for recovery? Shikamaru asks as he modifies his plan. I should be fine in just a while. Since you all know how I am now, I'm going to summon my companion. He will be our lead scout. I will also summon a rear scout and side scout. They will give us advanced warning sooner than any of us could normal give. With the telepathy of the rings, we will all know if one of my summons comes under attack. Naruto says calm to Shikamaru, who nods his head. That would be most helpful. We can place them 100 meters away from our group. Shikamaru says, motioning for Naruto to summon his summons. Naruto bites down on his thumb and flips through several hand seals as smoke arises and 5 foxes appear, 4 of them a sleek black and the 5th one a dark red with a slight trace of near the white of his fur. He has several black streaks lining him. He has 9 tails compared to the others' 1 tail. What you wish, master? Ask the foxes. Naruto steadies himself. Yumi, Rai, Mako, Neha. You 4 will be our scouts. Yumi 100 meters to the north. Rai 100 meters to the south. Mako and Neha, you will be 100 meters on our sides. Q, you will be at my side. Hi, respond the foxes. Shikamaru points to the red fox. What's his specialty? You didn't assign him as a scout. Naruto nods. He is a shapeshifter. Well, more if he can change his size. He has a massive amount of chakra that rivals even mine. He is a great fighter. His saliva can also heal a lot of minor wounds. Naruto explains as the fox struts beside Naruto. Master, is that the girl you were telling me about? Naruto nods his head as Sakura bends down to the fox. Name's Sakura Haruno. Pleasure to meet you, Kyuubi. She says his full name, earning a few glares from the group. Naruto quickly speaks. Relax. He's not the Kyuubi no Kitsune. Least to my knowledge. We don't actually know his name, so we call him Kyuubi because he has 9 tails like the demon fox. Everyone lets out a sigh of relief. Shikamaru opens his eyes. Okay, this is how the formation will go as soon as Shin recovers. With the summons to our sides and front, we will have Kyuubi 10 meters in front of us. With Naruto and Sakura behind him, because Naruto is the summoner of the fox and Sakura has the strongest taijutsu and kenjutsu. Behind them will be Neji and Kakashi. Neji on scouting, Kakashi on follow-up with his jutsu. Behind them will be Ino, Hinata and me. Both have medical skill, though not as good as Sakura. Both will be in the center. If we get surrounded, I also will be in center for strategy. Then we have Choji and Sai behind us with Sasuke as rearguard. Once we reach our objectives, we will split into the 2 groups and I will leave it up to Kakashi to lead his group. However, my group will be spaced near the exit, ready to cover the retreat. Everyone nods and responds with a hi. The group travels quickly through the forest as they run faster and faster. Finally they reach it as the sun begins to set. Kakashi, Sai, Sakura, Naruto, Sasuke and Choji form up as the sprint into the Omegakure, the headquarters of Akatsuki. They quickly move about undetected in the drenching rain. They finally reach the Amikage shrine in which they believe the scroll to be located. They search for the scroll for over an hour. As they exit with the scroll in hand, they encounter 12 strange shinobi gathered around them. The leader of the group speaks coldly. Hand over the scroll or your life, he says as everyone reaches for their kunais. The leader spits on the ground as he summons a sword to his hand within seconds. So be it, your life it is. Naruto quickly flips through several hand seals so fast that no one can keep up. He slams his palms together, ending in the ram seal. Don't underestimate me. Naruto speaks as he summons out a sword molded of solid wind affinity chakra. Suddenly one of the men standing beside the leader grins. "It's time to pay you back for what you did to Akatsuki," says the man as his Mangekyo Sharingan flashes. Naruto grins. "Itachi Uchiha, I thought I had killed you last time we met. I don't know why you persist on wishing for your own death." Naruto notices Sasuke growing furious at the man. "Sasuke, calm down. If you let your anger get the better of you, they will kill you. Don't worry, you can fight your brother, I won't stop you," Naruto says in a cold voice, calming Sasuke as he turns to the leader. "I suggest you reconsider your next thought before it is your last." The leader does not respond as a cold, tense silence grips the air. Each person waiting on the other to make a move. Itachi is the first to break the silence, mocking his brother. "Brother, you do not hate me enough yet. You do not despise me enough yet. You are weak, brother." Itachi smirks as he watches Sasuke's anger grow more and more. Naruto forms a futon Rasengan in one of his hands. "Enough shit talk, Itachi." Naruto charges at the leader as he breaks the tension. The leader swiftly dodges Naruto attack. "Missed me, sassy." The leader. "Who said I was aiming for you?" Naruto says as he slams his sword into the ground, using his momentum to swing himself around, ramming the Rasengan into one of the strangers, tearing through his stomach, sending him flying. The attack forces the battle to erupt. Sasuke charges at Itachi, no longer able to constrain himself. He charged up his Chidori using his fully unlocked Mangekyo Sharingan. He keeps up with his brother's speed, using his Chikuto and the Chidori to outfox his brother and strike a blow to his shoulder, ripping it off at the joint. Itachi increases his speed, which is equally matched by Sasuke. Kakashi struggles at two shinobis, outmaneuver him, landing several kunai into his back as they fight jutsus vs jutsu and taijutsu. Their tag team Kakashi from being able to perform his heavier attacks. He manages to successfully take out one of the enemy nin, but is caught in a trap in the process as he takes a mortal blow to the chest and legs, his blood quickly draining. Ino tries to assets Kakashi but finds herself trapped with a duo of enemy nins herself. She maneuvers around as Choji quickly assists her, using his newly acquired muscular build and his family enlarging jutsu to take out one of the enemy nins, freeing up Ino to assets Kakashi. Choji quickly eats through a soldier pill as he tries to keep up with the shinobis. He uses his famous butterfly wings to increases his chakra. He manages to take down another shinobi before getting several serious blows to the chest and back by a taijutsu using shinobi that beats Choji down badly, sending him flying off and through several pillars that line the area. Sai locks battle with another shinobi as he looks around while casting out his inked tigers. He tries to hold them off but finds himself in a 3-on-1 fight, his mind cursing loudly as he tries to keep away but ends up backing into a trap. He tries to jump free in time but a poison kunai catches his leg. He lets out a shrieks of pain as the poison quickly starts taking its effect, coursing through his bloodstream, locking up his muscles. Sasuke manages to once again outmaneuver his brother, taking several severe blows himself. He manages to get behind his brother, ramming his sword through his brother's throat. He twisted free. "Goodbye, my weak brother," is all Sasuke says before lobbing Itachi's head clean from his shoulders. Sasuke quickly rushes to Sai's aid but finds himself too low on chakra to do his Chidori. "Shit, they are overpowering us systematically," Sasuke says as he pulls Sai away from an enemy attack, regrouping near Ino and Choji. Choji barely manages to stand himself up, holding off the 3 shinobi with Sasuke help. Sakura takes on 2 shinobi herself, fighting widely. She finds herself quickly outmaneuvered in taijutsu as she feels a leg sweep just past the back of her head as she barely dodges. She quickly finds herself releasing her Kyuubi tails as the chakra courses through her body. She dashes after one of the 2 shinobis. She locks into battle with the shinobi. She quickly crushes him with her tails and a chakra-enhanced kick, but as quickly as she takes down one another replaces him. Suddenly the leader summons out a gigantic hell dragon, forcing Kyuubi to enlarge himself into his full 9-tailed fox size as he takes on the dragon. His claws quickly tear into the wings of the dragon, but the dragon bites back, striking and biting Kyuubi with his full force. Kyuubi savagely fights the hell dragon. Shikamaru looks to his group as he flicks his cigarette down. "Fuck it, let's move in. They need our help. I'll think of an exit strategy later. We can't leave them to get slaughtered," Shikamaru tells his teammates as they dash into the city. just as a shinobi is about to come in dealing a death blow to Choji. Shikamaru manages to catch him just inches before Choji's neck using his cage nuni to stop and strangle the shinobi, but his immobility while using the attack causes him to get struck with several kunai in the back. Shikamaru fall to the ground, just barely completing his takedown, mumbling, "Kunai, how troublesome." Lee quickly removes his weights, even releasing the first gate as he covers Shikamaru, allowing Neji to retrieve him. Lee fights 2-on-1, releasing all the way up to his 6th gate as he struggles to keep up with the skill of the enemy. "Guy-sensei, I'm sorry," Lee tells himself as he releases the 7th gate, launching out a flurry of punches as he performs the morning peacock on one of the shinobi, utterly destroying the shinobi's body. With the intensity of the punches, he suddenly feels a sword pierce through his back, driving through his right lung as he coughs up a large amount of blood. He hears a sinister voice. Now we can't have you releasing the 8th gate," whispers the shinobi. Lee falls forward, landing on his knees as he begins to black out from the strain on his body. Lee looks around as everything passes by him in slow motion. Sakura struggles against 2 shinobi even in her full released form. Naruto battles the leader one-on-one. Neji and Hinata work as a duo, trying to hold of the remaining shinobi. Lee lets out a tear. "I will miss you guys, sensei. I shall show them what the power of youth really is," Lee whispers in his head as he hears Naruto respond. "Fussy brows, no don, you dare," screams out Naruto as he disengages the leader, crashing to the ground next to Lee. "You don't dare think about it. I will not let my precious people down," says Naruto as slashes the enemy shinobi in half. He watches as the leader charges after Sakura. Sakura quickly feels a long sword pierce through her chest. She moved just barely enough to avoid her heart, but her right lung gets pierced in the exchange. Sakura looks at the cold blade protruding from her chest. She feels herself hoisted in the air and slung into the sky as the leader leaps up to deal the death blow. He charges all of his chakra into his sword as he begins closing in. Just before the blade strikes Sakura, feathers replace her as Naruto takes the full impact of the sword. It cuts clean into his torso, nearly cleaving him in half. Naruto lets out a wince of pain and screams, "Arga!" before he is sent spiraling down to the ground, crashing hard as he leaves a large crater where he landed. The leader lands calmly to the ground as the 2 shinobi that were fighting Sakura dash over to Neji and Hinata, who manage to take down one of the 2, making it a 3-on-2 fight. The leader lets out a laugh. "Glorious. You fight so hard, so well. Managing to take a group twice your size on. I shall have much fun killing you," the leader bellows out as he flips through several seals. Suddenly the ground begins to rumble and shake. The dimming sunlight seems to shine even brighter in its hues and blues. Naruto lets out a deafening roar. "I will not allow you to kill my friends, even if I have to die once again. I, Naruto Uzumaki, will protect those I care for," he screams out as he launches himself high into the sky. Spreading his feathered angle wings, he stares down at the leader, his eyes glaring holes into the leader. As he begins flipping through several seals, he begins to glow a bright yellow. He lowers himself to everyone, his eyes locked with the leader. "How are you still alive? How I cut into your spine, you shouldn't even be able to move," the leader mumbles out in shock. Naruto glares at him. "You can ask Kami when you met her. I'm sure she will be pleased to see you once I complete my promise to her." Naruto quickly dashes, taking out all 3 remaining enemy shinobi. As he pivots on his wings, he looks at the leader. "Nagato. Pain. It is time to meet Kami." Pain looks at Naruto, his widen as he slowly watches Naruto approach him. He feels Naruto wraps his wings around him in a circle. He quickly panics, trying to escape. He feels Naruto ram a Rasengan into his heart. Pain lets the blood trickle down his lips as he begins forming several one-handed seal. "I will not die here. I will not die here," shouts out Pain at the top of his lungs as he finishes the seals, the same seals Deidara used in his final masterpiece. The area glows in a bright blue light as Naruto's wings blow away. The blast incinerates both Naruto and himself, leaving nothing but a thick cloud of dust. Kyuubi manages to shield the group from the large yet very concentrated explosion. As the dust begins to settle, a single figure remains, his body covered in blood. Burns engulfing his body. As he begins to fall to the ground, he feels a pink-haired Kunoichi catch him in her arms. Naruto-kun, hang in there. Sakura cries as she begins treating Naruto wounds. Hey, Sakura-chan, Kami SMA told me I need to stop overdoing it. Naruto grins as he passes out.
That's all for now. If you enjoy this video, then please like, share and do comments.